Well, we have a lot of challenges in Walvis Bay, and like I said, it's not unique to any of the other cities in Africa. In Walvis Bay, we also have the problem of the rural-urban migration. And what happens is when people come from the rural areas, they perceive there is this opportunities, jobs, abundant jobs, and they come and they stay in informal settlements. We don't have informal settlements in Walvis Bay, but we do have what we call backyard shacks. And they put up the shacks with a flammable material because Walvis Bay is within the Rust Belt. And they put up the shacks with all sorts of material, cardboard boxes, plastics, tires, whatever they can find their hands on. And these areas become so congested. And the challenge that we have is, like recently we had a fire of over 200 of these shacks burning down. We have one life lost in that fire. So the challenge that we have and the opportunity that we now have is as a local authority to obtain funding to look at how we can build a sustainable housing and also bring in the climate resilient factor to that sustainable housing in Walvis Bay. So we have identified an area where we want to build this housing. We are looking at solar power to provide electricity, street lighting, as well as for the houses, lighting and so forth. And then we are also looking at how we can incorporate the green hydrogen in terms of green cooking, how we can bring that on board, because these are sectors that is coming up in Walvis Bay, and we would like the grassroots or the people from on the lowest level to benefit from each and every development taking place in Walvis Bay. So, and we're also looking at how we can set up a waste to power plant that not only facilitates Walvis Bay, but also the whole entire Irongo region where I'm from. So that is one of the initiatives that we are looking at: sustainable housing, waste to power, green hydrogen, all of these things, and we want to bring them all together for the betterment of our communities in Walvis Bay. And I think that Walvis Bay will be a benchmark to other cities all around Africa, Namibia and the rest of the world on how climate funding can really transform lives. Well, community engagement is of cardinal importance. You cannot take that away. You need to plan with the people and not for them, because once you plan for the people, your projects will not be accepted that well. So you need to have community engagement. We recently had an initiative where we were funded by Bloomberg Philanthropies, where we put the money into a youth climate fund, or the funding was for youth climate. And we had several engagements. Recently, the people at Green Valley Farm 37, the area I just spoke about, was given solar lights by one of the beneficiaries from this fund. And what happens with this handover of the lighting is that education goes along with it. And that is with all the projects that we are embarking on, is how do we educate our people? How do we tell people that climate change is real and climate change is here, and we need to adapt to it, or we need to be resilient to the effects of climate change. We need to really put our foot down and say that we can make a change and we can make a difference, and change starts with each and every one of us. Well, as mayors come and go, there's always the issue of, will the other mayor, the one that takes over from me, will he build on what has already been there? So my key focus now is laying the foundation for others to keep building on that foundation that I've laid, and to make sure that climate change action is not put on the back of the priorities of the local authorities, but it remains a priority. And this can only be done, like I said, that if your words don't amount to action, you have nothing to say. So I believe that we should really take a very, very cautious approach and a very proactive approach when it comes to climate change. And we need to build on that. We have a brilliant environment department in the municipality of Walvis Bay. All they need is the political assistance. And I hope and I believe that whoever comes after me will continue this legacy. My message locally will be that we continue to engage our communities. We continue to engage stakeholders, especially the private sector, because private sector is vital to this transition that we are going through in African cities. So that will be my key message to the Walvis Bay in the Namibian context and Africa. But in the global context, we as African cities, especially sub-Saharan Africa, we would like to see more climate funding coming through to our cities. We know that Africa contributes the least, yet we suffer the most and we benefit the least when it comes to climate funding, and that should not be the case. Africa in its essence has become the mind to the globe. All of these resources that you are using in Europe, like to drive electrical cars, the lithium comes from Africa. Lithium is extracted in my own country, Namibia, yet our local people do not benefit from our own resources. So the least that the world can do is to make sure that these ones that is contributing to their sustainability is also benefiting, to also empower and also improve our livelihoods of our people on the ground.